Today, I want us to look at the visit of the South African President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa to the White House. Hmm. Interesting development. So, Cyril Ramaphosa have been under enormous pressure, after he got re-elected and formed a coalition in the center with the um, the Democratic Alliance. Is that the DA, the Democratic Alliance, which is mostly a white nationalist African party. Of course, it has a blend of black and brown people somewhere in between, but it's a legacy apartheid party, if you like. They mostly made up of white capital, white people, dominated largely, like I said, by white elites. And these are the guys that control the economy of South Africa. These are the guys that hold the big bucks, control the mines, the banks. They own 70% of the resources of the country, control over 75% of the land. And recently, people are talking about the marginalization of whites in South Africa by the blacks. Last year alone, there were over 20,000 murders in South Africa. Over 20,000. So the crime rate in South Africa is alarming. It's way over the top. So the visit of the president of South Africa, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, to the White House, is to try and normalize, or find the right balance in its relations or the relations between South Africa and the United States. Because America as well imposed, tariff on them in this recent trade war and tariff war between the US and between the US, I think, and South Africa. By the way, it's the US imposing that on the rest of the world. So it's not just about South Africa. They are doing it to almost everybody. So I wouldn't be surprised that at this point that the US is doing it to South Africa as they are doing to everybody else. So basically, um, yeah, he went there, and there's also the G20 summit coming up soon. Hoping that he'll be able to maybe get his point across to Washington D.C. and find some kind of balance in between. Of course, South Africa recently have been moving left, if you like. They have been normalizing or forming stronger bond with China and Russia, and the West is not liking that. And we know for sure that Elon Musk is not part of this current government. He has the ears of the U.S. President Donald Trump. And if you, in fact, I listened to the whole conversation and interaction in the White House. There were a few billionaires that were in that room. By the way, if you look at the Forbes list, and this is a digression, the Forbes list of the richest men in South Africa, number 1 to 10, nine of them white people, nine of them white people, in a country that they're claiming genocide, right? Trump brought out some pictures in the White House, in the Oval Office, and was showing to Ramaphosa a couple of 8 or 10 white farmers that were targeted on their farms, and these farms are in remote areas, so a lot of criminal gangs running around and creating problems. And in a country where you have over 20,000 people slain in 2024, 99.7 of them blacks. Well, and Trump is talking about the genocide against the white farmers. Well, I did a video earlier and I talked about it. If you're really looking for genocide, you need to go to Gaza, Congo, Sudan, Myanmar, all over the world. It is not elusive. It's right there for you to see. So the idea that they are fishing for genocide in South Africa, in a country where they are better off than anybody else. I mean, there's a video that Malema did, and it's like, oh, okay, these guys that left are not farmers. So if they are farmers that left their land and went to America, that means you have 49, they would say there 49 or 41 of them. It means that you have 49 farmlands left empty, and that the government should go and repossess those land and reallocate those land to the local farmers. Because this is what people don't understand. South Africa is a country of north of 60 to 70 million people. The whites make up 7.3% of the population. 7.3% of the population. And yet, they control 75% of the land, 70% of the resources. These guys were in government for close to 100 years or 80 or whatever years, if you look at apartheid and the history of colonialism and so on and so forth. And yet, the minorities that have been dispossessed of their land, that have been dispossessed of the wealth underneath the land. We talk about the bears. Johan Rupert, who is the richest man in South Africa, he was in that meeting, white. You're talking about the Oppenheimers, the Guptas, all these guys are not Africans in quotes. Yet, they are the ones that control the banks. In fact, if you look at the political structure of South Africa, the judiciary is largely overrepresented by white people. They control the judiciary. I don't know how that even works in South Africa, but they found their way into the structures of the judiciary. They have powerful lobby groups like AfriForum. Okay? And by the way, the video of Malema surfaced, that they were showing and playing over and over again. And that video, the AfriForum took him to court because of that video in a case that he won. And then it is the evidence when Trump was talking to the South African president Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, he had to relate to that video as evidence, as a source of evidence to say, well, look at this video of Malema calling to target white farmers. Malema is not even in the government. His party barely got up to 10% of the total vote cast. So you should hold the ANC, which is in power, and you should talk to the Democratic Alliance, which is a white nationalist party in power in government, with the Ministry of people talking about land expropriation in South Africa. This government does not have the cojones, the big balls to do it. Ramaphosa is afraid of these guys because they control the banks and because of now they are bullying him. He went to the US and they are intimidating him and shaking him so that he can refuse to follow through on the promises he made during the campaign to expropriate land without compensation. Do you understand? There is supposed to be a policy of land expropriation without compensation in South Africa. And now, this is why they got him to go to Washington. And the guy pulling the levers and getting into the ears of the president is Elon Musk. Is he South African or is he American? This guy have to choose where he belongs. Is he South African, Canadian, or American? Because he cannot be in America lobbying the US government to influence policies back in Africa. And now you have the statement from Rupert, who was in the meeting, talking about that. If I have enough chance, I'm going to play some of the videos for you guys to hear. But first of all, let's listen to the reaction of Malema and what Malema said about the position of these 49 farmers, in quotes. They took them and took a video up of them. These guys are wealthy people, right? They took pictures of them, flew them to Washington. The camera took them. These guys are back home. Do you think they want to live in the US? The kind of life they are living in South Africa, where they have bodyguards, maids, and so on and so forth, and endless, vast amount of land. Nobody is going to give them that. They control the farm. Most of these people talk about safari in South Africa. The people that own this land that you go on these safaris are the farmers. They are the ones that own the land and everything on it. And the blacks that make up over 80% of the population don't have anything. So is it a surprise to us that we are seeing this spontaneity, if you like, in South Africa? People are reacting because of the economic hardship, because of the economic problems. Okay? So I'm going to play the video for you guys to hear. And this is Malema reacting because they use him as evidence number one. What do you call it? Exhibit. And they use him as exhibit number one and say, look at the video of Malema. I'm going to play the video that they showed about Malema. And I'm going to also play the video that Johan Rupert, which is the richest man in South Africa, also talked about. But first of all, let's listen to what Malema said about this.
The parliament would be taking a budget speech very soon. What is your view on that, and also the issue, the visit
of America? It was badly timed because budget is coming to parliament for the third time, and the president is not there. Once budget comes for the third time, it means it's a crisis. You cannot leave your country in a crisis and go to America where you're going to be ill-treated. He's going to be ill-treated. He will not be given the necessary respect. And that's what Americans do. Madiba tried to convince them that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And then President Mbeki did the same, tried to convince them that there are no weapons of mass destruction. They still went on to destroy Iraq, even when there was no evidence. Till to date, they've not produced a single evidence that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. So it's a waste of time. He's going to, if he wants them to start treating him differently, and is going to beg them to attend the G20, he's going to have to compromise some of the fundamental policies of this country, which were not prepared. If he does that, he must not come back. He must stay there with those 49 Afrikaners already. He must also stay there because he can't compromise our sovereignty for political expediency. We've got positions on.
And by the way, before I continue the video, thank you. So this is Malema as well, because they used Malema as exhibit number one in the video, the viral video that I think it was the 10-year anniversary or 15 years anniversary of the EFF, where he was in the stadium jumping and chanting, "Heal the boy, heal the farmer," something like that. And it's the chant is a resistance chant song that was used by the ANC, not even the EFF, by the ANC during the struggle during apartheid. Of course, we know what happened during apartheid with the whole policy of Bantustan and so on and so forth. It's a lot of details to go into, but they're bringing this video from 8-10 years ago, using it as evidence against Malema in a court case that he won. The AfriForum, by the way, for those of you that don't know what AfriForum is, AfriForum is a white lobby group in South Africa that is just like you have APAC in America. AfriForum is just like that. So AfriForum took him to court in a case that he won. He won that case against AfriForum. And yet they're bringing this as evidence number one against Malema. This makes no sense. So this is a case they are building up in order to discourage the current ANC government from following through on their policy of land expropriation without compensation.
Palestine, we've got position on the embassy of Israel. We have a resolution of parliament that said that embassy must leave South Africa. Its majority in parliament took that decision. So you cannot go alone as an executive overrule the position of parliament. If he does that, it will be illegal and we're going to fight it. There are no Afrikaners who have been killed here in.
Before I go to this part, he talked about the fact that Ramaphosa have gone to the White House to kneel down and beg that they are not going to respect him if he's trying to do that because of the upcoming G20 summit and to have economic reprieve and to gain respect, that he's not going to get that. Then he went ahead to talk about the fact that they took a decision in parliament to shut down the Israeli embassy in South Africa. It was a consensus in parliament. Majority decision was taken in parliament to shut down the Israeli embassy in Pretoria and to kick the Israelis out of South Africa. This was a majority decision taken in the parliament. Then America and all these countries are trying to use that as a means to bully and intimidate South Africa, impose sanctions on them, again doing the bidding of Israel. So he's saying that if the president is going to go to America to do a deal under the table with them in order to lift those restrictions on the Israeli embassy and the contact between Israel and South Africa, that is not going to work. It could as well stay there. So now let's listen to what his position is on the Afrikaner farmers that are
in South Africa. It's not true. And there are no 49 Afrikaners who left South Africa. You all know that. It's a fiction. It's drama. America with drama is number one. That thing is Muvango. I don't know what is Muvango in Africa. It's just a drama. I believe they landed and then they waited for cameras, took them pictures. The next flight back to South Africa. If those people are farmers, it means there are 49 farms available. Why are we not expropriating them? Because they've abandoned them. But why is the media not telling us? Because they say these are farmers. Why is the media, through its own investigation, say to us, this picture you see is a farmer at this. They are not farmers. There is no one who left farming here in South Africa, I suspect that those whites were these ones who were looking after cars at the parking lot. They were attending to cars and they went to fetch them there. They can't live. They will never live the kind of life they live here in South Africa anywhere else. Even if you live here as a millionaire and you go to USA, your money gets reduced to nothing. So no American or Afrikaner will leave South Africa for America. It's not true. Our country, there's no killing of white people. We're not killing white people. We're demanding our land. We're saying, let's share this land. Let's all work the land. And if that is a crime, it's a crime we're prepared to commit. Because we can't, when we're asking for food, and say, no, you're committing crime by asking. We're having a robust debate on land in South Africa. And that must never be used to silence us by America.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
CIC.
Do you think I should dare dilute of these words?
Not at all.
But without doing or saying anything, you know,
Yes.
every time our president goes to the West, we worry if he's not going to fetch new instructions, new tactics, and new orders of how to steal and siphon our minds, our wealth, and how to abuse our labor. So I wish one day he could come up with roses, you know, so that we can all be happy. Because he seems when he comes from there, he looks brighter than before. We also want to look bright and beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. What's your take? What's your reaction going there, whereas there's a concern about Donald Trump?
Well, we are going there as a South African delegation. I'm going with the ministers, and there are some other people who are accompanying me. And we are a sovereign state, and we
Sorry,
will be
guys, I'm
conducting
trying to send some stuff.
our discussions in a business-like manner, representing our country, the interests of our country. We've got a number of issues to discuss: trade issues, diplomatic issues, and relationship issues. So we are.
So I wish
let's go
one
back
day
a
he
bit.
could come
So,
up with
yeah.
roses.
To silence us by America.
So this is another.
Thanks,
This is
Thank you.
from another. Okay. I'm going to go back a bit because Malema said that him going there is America trying to cajole him and bully him to a position where they'll demand for concession. In fact, they are talking about repossessing assets in South Africa, particularly mining interest. And if you look at what this president have been talking about, mostly it's about targeting investment in key positions, particularly the mining sector. So them doing this to South Africa is trying to gain some concession in rare earth minerals like America did to Ukraine. So this is what they are trying to get from this government. So it's not the whole stuff they are telling you about the farmers and so on and so forth. It's all a baloney. Let's listen to what this guy said. I think he's one of the deputies of
Leave
the
South
EFF
Africa
leader,
for
Julius
America.
Malema, what
It's
he
not
said.
true. Our country, there's no killing of white people. We're not killing white people. We're demanding our land. We're saying, let's share this land. Let's all work the land. And if that is a crime, it's a crime we're prepared to commit. Because we can't, when we're asking for food, and say, no, you're committing crime by asking. We're having a robust debate on land in South Africa. And that must never be used to silence us by America.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
CIC.
Do you think I should dare dilute of these words?
Not at all.
But without doing or saying anything, you know,
Yes.
every time our president goes to the West, we worry if he's not going to fetch new instructions, new tactics, and new orders of how to steal and siphon our minds, our wealth, and how to abuse our labor. So I wish one day he could come up with roses, you know, so that we can all be happy. Because he seems when he comes from there, he looks brighter than before. We also want to look bright and beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
What's your take? What's your reaction going there, whereas there's a concern about Donald Trump?
Well,
Now this is
we are
Malema
going
before-
there
This is
as a
Ramaphosa
South
before you.
African delegation. I'm going with the ministers, and there are some other people who are accompanying me. And we are a sovereign state, and we will be conducting our discussions in a business-like manner, representing our country, the interests of our country. We've got a number of issues to discuss: trade issues, diplomatic issues, and relationship issues. So we are not going to be distracted by anything. We will just focus on what is important for our country. Trade. They have imposed tariffs on us, even though they've postponed them. We need to deal with that.
Yeah, this is really interesting. And by the way, there's another video I want you guys to see. Yeah, so this is the video of Malema in the stadium. I can't remember from what TV. Yeah, I want you guys to look at this one. Oh my God, this is interesting. So Malema is a crazy guy, but he's not even in government. The people in government are the African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance. These are the two political parties in government. So why the hell are they blaming Malema for their own problems? And all of them are in consensus that there must be land expropriation. There must be complete land expropriation without compensation. Because why in the hell are these guys keeping the land that belongs to everybody? That cannot be okay. And this is what we're saying. I mean, you cannot keep the land and continue to keep the land for yourself. I mean, if you're not seeing that, how do you expect us to deal with it? And when he went there, he went with this large business entourage, including the richest man in South Africa, Johan Rupert, and the rest of them, to have these discussions. This is what the West does, right? They put pressure on you in order to gain some economic concession. We think Trump really cares about those white farmers. Even if he cares about them, it's hypocrisy, because on one hand, you're turning a blind eye to the real genocide happening in Gaza, in Sudan, in Congo, in Ethiopia. There are places where these things are really happening, but those places, you are complicit in them. You and your friends in Europe are complicit. You are the ones selling them arms. And in the case of South Africa, you're making a case that somehow black people are running around and taking the lives of white people. It's not even true. Because again, these guys make up a fraction, 7.2 or 7.3% of the entire population of the country. And how on earth are these guys that make up less than 8% of the population controlling over 70% of the resources, over 75% of the land? That is it's insane. It's mind-boggling, and we are not allowed to talk about this. It's I'm sorry, it's crazy. So let's take a look at this one. I think this is we are talking about. This is the video we are talking about.
Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm there? So far, sketchy. So far, sketchy. Etatin. Kichima. Cyprian Konto. Alliance. Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. Attention.
Finally, sorry, having the glitch. I'm going to play the video again for you guys to hear. So this was like the celebration of the 10th year anniversary of the EFF, and this is a chant song in the struggle against apartheid. We play this song. a lot of people. So
Come
let's
on,
play the song.
sir. Hule, guitar, kilame. Hirwata,
With everybody in
Tamarumo,
the stadium wearing red.
Tamarmo, Hasicha. Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm there? So far, sketchy. Emoye, so far, sketchy. Etatin, kichima. Sibram Konto, Alliance. Shoot to kill. Kamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer. Brr, pa. Pa. Brr, pa. Pa. Attention.
Oh my God. And they're blaming Malema for being behind all the so-called, attacks on the white farmers. Well, I don't know. This song has been around for a very long time. So the fact that he decided to use that song in some kind of rally in a big stadium with like tens of thousands of people and dancing and singing poor the poor to kiss the farmer, and yeah, it's something that they won't tolerate. Well, I kind of see where this is going, but at the end of the day, I don't know. It's insane that the US have decided to take this route. There are so many issues on the ground. Is the closure of the Israeli embassy in South Africa, the fact that South Africa took Israel to the ICJ, the fact that Elon Musk today is trying to bring his project, Starlink, into the country, and most of the people are against Starlink because they think he's going to use that to control information in South Africa, to access and wiretap and steal information for the American government. A lot of South Africans, particularly the elites, not the elites, particularly the ordinary people in South Africa, are against Starlink. And their leaders are telling them the implication of bringing Starlink. So, but you also have this guy, the richest man in South Africa, Johan Rupert, lobbying on behalf of Elon Musk. You have a country that's over 60 to 70 million people, if not more, controlled by 7.3% of the population, who control a vast amount of the resources of South Africa. It's absurd, and they're talking about white genocide in South Africa. It doesn't exist. Oh, look, last year alone, there were 20,000 people unalived in South Africa. 20,000. And you're trying to tell me that all of them were white? 99.7% of them were blacks. And I'm even glad that the richest man in South Africa, Johan Rupert, was there in that meeting and he was very candid. He said the crimes are coming from, the restlessness, the restiveness, poverty. You're talking about the crime rate going up, gang violence, all these guys riding on, motorbikes and other stuff, going to this vast amount of space where there's no, so they need technology, including using things like drone to stop elephant pushing and so on and so forth. So it's crazy that somebody is saying that somehow they're only targeting the whites when you guys control 75% of the land, and that must end. If it doesn't end under Ramaphosa, it must end. Whether you like it or not, your days in South Africa is numbered. You will not be able to continue to maintain your grip and control and stranglehold over the South African economy. Little by little, petit a petit, you will lose the power you have in South Africa. So when you are trying to use Trump has 4 years in office, he'll go. One thing is constant. One thing I insist, one thing is constant that um, I don't know why this guy is posting link here. Someone should block him. Don't post links here. You're not interested in links. Talking about targeting the minority population in South Africa. It's crazy. Your own guy, Johan Rupert, talked about it. You say it doesn't happen. This thing does not exist. Well, that wasn't exactly what Johan Rupert said. He said it's happening across board. It's not just about whites, it's also happening to the blacks. And by the way, the people that are losing their life most are They are the black people. They are the ones being targeted every day. You guys make up less than 8% of the population and you control the resources. And yet you're complaining. So what are the 85% or 90% of the blacks? Because you also have colored people in South Africa, so it's not just 93, 7% or something like that. If you guys hate South Africa so much, why don't you pack your bags and leave? If you look at the land reforms that happened in Zimbabwe in the early 2000s, some of them packed their bags and went to Australia, New Zealand, they went to Israel, most of them went to America. Yeah, it's easy because you don't want this land reform. You make up less than 7.3% of the population and you control 75% of the land. How is that even justice? I mean, these people are, and again, this is the mentality you see about these people. These are the same people, the same guys have gone in to join the IDF. These are the same people causing problems in Africa. It's the same group of people in South Africa that have now gone to join the IDF. It's the same group of people in South Africa that their people and their descendants and their parents continue to control. The incident of Marikana mines in 2000 and in 2012. What happened in Marikana? Who owns the Marikana mines? It's a guy called Fron. I did a video on him today. He's one of the richest guys in South Africa. He's the one that owned the mine that trapped people yesterday again. You guys own the mines. You are the ones that are operating the mines because you own the land. The Bears, Oppenheimers, Rupert. You guys are the ones that are controlling everything. The banks. How many banks do black people controlling? Tell me, it's crazy. You're still talking about marginalization.
All of those things properly.
Now let's listen to
Biggest target. President, if
what Johan Rupert. I want us to listen to what Johan Rupert, who is the richest man in South Africa, said in that meeting with Ramaphosa. And again, for him, he's pointing at, for him, he went there to make his own case personally, pointing at Malema, say, oh, Malema is the problem, uh, and so on and so forth. So the incident in Marikana mines is the police targeting and unaliving black people that were protesting and demanding for better work conditions on behalf of white capital. It's crazy. It's the same company, let's see, Siloque something. It's the same company that owned the mine, the Marikana mine, that owned this other mine that collapsed yesterday. Um, I'll pull up the name in a second. Yeah, it's insane. um, and anytime, by the way, I urge you guys to look at the recent Forbes listing. The 10 richest men in South Africa, 9 of them are whites. 9 of them, one of them black. I think it's at number 4 or number 5. The first three, it's absurd. Like honestly, and these are the guys that make up over 80% of the population. They have nothing to take home with. And this is why you're seeing this rising level of violence in South Africa because of poverty, because of other issues. But what Rupert is saying in that meeting is that no, no, no. This is not why we're having insecurity and problems. It's because of black people coming from abroad. It's because of the borders. This is what, and again, these are very, very sensitive issues. Talking about border problems, meaning that it's not because of the white people that have captured 80% of the economy. It is because of people from Zimbabwe that are coming to remove debts on the road, that are coming to wash plates in their houses, that are coming to sell bread on the roadside. They say those ones are the ones causing the problem. And it's not the economic problem created by the Ruperts and the Oppenheimers and the Bears and all these guys that are British, Anglo-British people, Israeli billionaires. All these guys, what are they? They're doing strangling the economy of South Africa. And it's easy to point accusing fingers and always blame the black people. Your descendants came in, pillaged, looted, beat up Africans, enslaved them, took over the resources, took over the land, and even after the end of apartheid, you continue to maintain your presence, and you are going and causing problems, giving a bad image to South Africa in the United States. Why? Because you are white, and somehow they must come and rescue this dying race. You know that you know how they talk about the dinosaurs being they're trying to be extinct, that they're trying to get them extinct. Your conditions are way better than your colleagues, some of the black people that are more qualified than you in South Africa. This is why it doesn't make sense to me. No, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to pull off the my collapse in South Africa. Okay, so this is Africa's Steel Fountain Mine. This is from 17th of January, and this one is the Sibani mines. Over 30 people. Now let's look at the miners begin emerging from damaged mine shaft. No workers killed or hurt, says company and union. Now, nearly a third of the 260 miners stuck underground following an accident at the Sibanye Stillwater mine. So, this who owns the Sibanye Stillwater mine? Let's look at the owner of. It's called the Sibanye Stillwater mine in South Africa. This is the same company that owned the Marikana mines. Almost all the mines, if not all, is owned by you. You that make up less than 7%, was about 7.2% of the population. And you're crying genocide against who? 20,000 black people were unalived in South Africa last year. And the reason that is happening is because of economic problems and because of crime and because of drug, issues in South Africa. Fix your social problems and stop always blaming the black man. And again, if you don't like that place, of course, your ancestors are from Netherlands. Holland is still open. Some of them from Zimbabwe ran away to, and this is why they continue to target Mugabe. When Mugabe came and emerged, and they did a deal, they were happy. They revered him like they revered Mandela. He was a good guy and so on. But the moment Mugabe did the land reform and he expropriated the land and even compensated some of them, he became the enemy. He started going abroad. All of them, they started running away. The moment you take away supremacy from them, the white man does not want to live anymore. They just want to be supreme so they can get people to be enslaved to them. They don't want equality in South Africa. They want to continue to be the masters, to control the banks and the mines. And it's about time for the ordinary people in South Africa to rise up and kick them out. I want us to listen to what Johan Rupert said about this. Let's listen.
Wind all of those tapes properly, you will see I'm the biggest target of that rabble rouser. Number one for over 10 years, Mr. Malema. In fact, the first time I saw him, he was in a youth league with that kid. Look how he's changed. We have too many deaths, but it's across the board. It's not only white farmers, it's across the board. And we need technological.
Did you hear what the party said? He said the first problem, I want to play it again. So Johan Rupert is talking about the problem. He said we have many problems, but one, Julius Malema. Julius Malema is still in government. Johan Rupert, look, they hate the guy so much that they are using every financial means they have, including activities from the DA, including even supporting and getting into government with the ANC that I don't like. The ANC government is a corrupt government. The ANC government itself is not delivering. The ANC government is just living on the legacy of Madiba and so on and so forth. So I'm not a big fan of the ANC in quotes, right? But the DA and AfriForum and all these groups, they prefer to have the ANC in power than to have somebody like Malema close to anywhere in power. They hate him. So coming to the White House and providing the video from Malema, in that video you saw where he's chanting on a live the boy shoot the farmer, which is a resistance song from the 70s and the 60s during the rebellion or resistance against apartheid in South Africa. So I want us to listen. I don't know why the audio is low, but I'm going to play it again so you guys can listen.
If you had to wind all of those tapes properly, you will see I'm the biggest target of that.
I'll try to get some audio enhancement to make it better. I don't know why it's not coming out good. For some odd reason, they just don't like Malema. They don't like Malema. They hate him so much. And it's not a surprise that they hate Malema because he's exposing them. He's telling them as it is. And now Malema is international. Malema now is international. His name is an international brand. They took him to the US. And this lobbying has been going on for a very long time. And who's doing it? Elon Musk. Elon Musk that wants to build Starlink. He wants to get contracts to build Starlinks and other stuff in South Africa. And who's lobbying on his behalf? Johan Rupert. So these are the same white guys defending other white people, at the detriment of people like us. If they hate us so much, what the hell are they doing here? If they hate us so much, they could as well leave. But no, they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. They want free resources. They just don't want to leave. They want free resources. They want to continue to exploit. I can't find. I'm looking for something to enhance my sound, so you guys can hear it very well. Thank you so much. I'm going to play it again.
Number one for over 10 years, Mr. Malema. In fact, the first time I met him, he was in the youth league with that gentleman. Look how he's changed. We have too many deaths, but it's across the board. It's not only white farmers, it's across the board. And we need technological help. We need Starlink at every little police station. We need drones. I actually got drones donated for the peace parks to stop elephant and rhino poaching. And his predecessor stopped the importation because he said the United States would spy on us. I mean, US basics, the ridicule. So if you can help us. Remember, sir, you and I lived in New York in the 70s. We never thought New York could be what it became. 2 commissioners, a tough mayor. We need your help to stop this awful killing. But it's across the board. Ernie is right now building a house in George. I'm building 3 cottages for my grandchildren on a farm outside Graaff-Reinet. I often go to bed without locking the door. And we have a serious problem with illegal aliens who stream across the border. And if you really look at our statistics, a lot of these murders, firstly it's unemployment and illegal aliens.
Did you hear what he said? He said first of the problem is unemployment and second, illegal aliens. Meaning migrants that are coming from other African countries coming to work in South Africa. The white man is telling them, the white man that came from Europe is telling them that they can't. And the government should take policies not to allow other Africans. By the way, these borders are arbitrary. He's calling Africans illegal aliens. This is Rupert, Johan Rupert, the richest man in South Africa, digging and taking resources from underneath Africa for his own benefit and telling us that the reason why there's problem in South Africa is because of illegal aliens. Not because of the fact that him and his friends, his few friends, control 70% of the resources of the country. He's not telling you that. He's not telling you that him, his European and Israeli friends are controlling the resources of South Africa to the detriment of the vast majority of the populace of South Africa. And he's blaming that on the illegal alien, meaning people from Zimbabwe and Nigeria and Botswana and Lesotho, and Namibia and so on and so forth. He said they are the problem. That they should close all the borders and not allow any single, he said, illegal alien to enter South Africa. Hang on a second. You are the European, but we Africans are the aliens to our own lands. These borders are arbitrary, they don't exist. These borders were drawn up during the Berlin Conference of 1884-1885. And Johan Rupert is instructing the South African president in the office of the president of the United States of America, another European guy that wants to rescue dying Europeans in Africa, flying planes in a show, in a drama show to South Africa to rescue 49 farmers that are on the verge of extinction. It's
And
insane,
then
guys. Let's
I
listen.
met Vice President Watts many years ago at Charlie Rose show. My wife loved his book. And she reminded me this morning that you emphasized the devastation that occurs when big companies leave towns and cities, and there's a culture of dependency that develops. I remember you discussing it. Now that's our problem. If we don't get our economy to grow, the culture of dependency and the lawlessness will increase. I've been against apartheid all my life, and I'm their number one target. Please just Google my name and Malema. You'll see it, sir. He marched on the farm.
But the crime is bad.
The crime is terrible, sir, but Mr. Steenhuisen won't admit to it, but he runs the Western Cape, where I live. And the biggest murder rate is in the Cape Flats. Gangs. We've got gang warfare.
So what is really going
Like
on
your
in the Cape Flats?
M33 or whatever, these guys. We've got the equivalents there.
Well. I mean, the highlights from this is that Johan Rupert identified that there was not a crime against whites per se, that it was a general problem in South Africa, which is true. And then he said that he wanted to buy drones, during the last administration, and they said he shouldn't bring them in because America will use that to spy on South Africa. And with what we've seen with the whole spying case with them using software to spy on the Germans, that's also have been proven to be true. And then he went on to say that the major source of this problem is number one, Malema, because Malema targeted him personally and blamed him for the problems. Of course, you and your friends control 70% of the resources, taking it away from the ordinary African people. That is also true. But he went on to say that the problem is unemployment, which is true. And then he turned around to say illegal aliens. The illegal aliens are the other Africans like myself, somebody from Zimbabwe, from Botswana, from Lesotho, Eswatini, and Namibia, those that are Angola, and so on and so on, Zambia, that are migrants, economic migrants going there. And because of the fact that they are using the media platforms that they have, including SABC, and all these big medias that are largely funded by private capital, owned by these white capitalist elites, to propagate this narrative to say that the reason that they're having crime and other stuff in South Africa is because of the illegal alien. It's the same game that they're playing in America. So if there are aliens and you're against migration of any sort, why do you only give preference to the whites to migrate to America? Like Trump flew that plane there and did that drama show, him and Elon Musk and so on and so forth. It's absurd. Oh man, it's oh. And he's blaming Malema. By the way, let's look at, he talked about Malema before when he went on and said, oh, the guy wants me, he's the one, he's the problem.
Come on, sir. Hold it.
This is the video he's referring to.
Kill him, man. Hirwata. Tamarumo. Hasicha. Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm there?
Oh my God.
So fast, Kichi. So fast, Kichi. Etatin. Kichima. Sipram Konto Alliance. Shoot to kill. Yamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer.
And this video is going to get millions of views.
Attention.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Bruh, bruh. And they made him famous overnight. Honestly, it's going to sell Malema as the because is look, everything he's saying is on point. You control 75% of the resources. By the way, Malema's number is going to go up in the next election. Play that again.
Hule,
Let's
hule,
go.
Tamasa, hule, kita, kilame, hirwata, tamarumo, rumo, hasicha. Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm there? So far, sketchy. Emoye, so far, sketchy. Etatin, kichima. Cyprian Konto, Alliance. Shoot to kill. Kamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa, brr, pa. Attention.
Hey, let's play that song. Let's play it again. I want to know what is reading this video.
Hule, kita, kilame, hirwata, tamarumo, hasicha. Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm there? So far, sketchy. Emoye, so far, sketchy. Etatin, kichima. Cyprian Konto, Alliance. Shoot to kill. Kamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa. Brr, pa. Attention. Alright, Tamasa, Hule, Kita, Kilame, Hirwata, Tamarumo, Hasicha. Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm there?
All of these that he's
So far, sketchy. Emoye, so far, sketchy. Etatin. Kichima. Cyprian Konto, Alliance. Shoot to kill. Kamaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa. Brr, pa. Attention.
I don't know what they're talking about. It's no, he was at the White House while being no. This is the video of Malema that is now making the waves because the president Ramaphosa went there to try to discuss with the Americans because of the sanctions imposed on South Africa and the G20 summit coming up, and the fact that they're talking about white genocide in South Africa, and Malema became the news. Johan Rupert, who's the richest guy in South Africa, and the US president, all they talked about in that meeting, they used Malema as exhibit number one that white South Africans have been targeted because of Malema. So what is this government going to do to him? Malema is not even in government. He's in this current the agriculture minister. They're talking about land. The agriculture minister is from the Democratic Alliance. These guys have all the money, all the land, and all the resources, and they blame ordinary Africans. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that they're trying to blame him for all the problems.
Tamasa, Hule, Kita, Kilame, Hirwata, Tamarumo, Hasicha. Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm there? Sofa skichi. Emoyen. Sofa skichi. Etati. Kichi. Kichima. Simran Konto. Alliance.
Let's go.
Shoot to kill. Kamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer. Brr, pa. Pa. Brr, pa. Pa. Attention.
This is, look, I don't call for this side against anybody, but at the end of the day, the black people in South Africa are the ones taking all the weight. They are the ones feeling the pain. And the ones in power are saying, we want you to continue to remain there. And
We know
anytime we
that
try to touch the economic
the
interest, they
Parliament
run to
will be having
Washington
a
and
budget
blame
speech
us.
very soon. What
Let's
is
listen
your
to this interview
view
again.
on that, and also the issue, the visit of the president to United States of America? If you can just maybe put
Yes.
your view on those
It
issues.
it was badly timed because budget is coming to Parliament for the third time, and the president is not there. Once budget comes for the third time, it means it's a crisis. You cannot leave your country in a crisis and go to America where you're going to be ill-treated. He's going to be ill-treated. He will not be given the necessary respect. And that's what Americans do. Madiba tried to convince them that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And then the President Mbeki did the same, tried to convince them that there are no weapons of mass destruction. They still went on to destroy Iraq, even when there was no evidence. Till to date, they've not produced a single evidence that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. So it's a waste of time. He's going to, if he wants them to start treating him differently, and is going to beg them to attend the G20, he's going to have to compromise some of the fundamental policies of this country, which were not prepared. If he does that, he must not come back. He must stay there with those 49 Afrikaners already. He must also stay there because he can't compromise our sovereignty for political expediency. We've got positions on Palestine. We've got position on the embassy of Israel. We have a resolution of Parliament that said that embassy must leave South Africa. It's majority in Parliament took that decision. So you cannot go alone as an executive overrule the position of Parliament. If he does that, it will be illegal and we're going to fight it. There are no Afrikaners who have been killed here in South Africa. It's not true. And there are no 49 Afrikaners who left South Africa. You all know that. It's a fiction. It's drama. You know, America with drama is number one. That thing is Movango. I don't know what is Movango in Africa. It's just a drama. I believe they landed and then they waited for cameras, took them pictures. The next flight back to South Africa. If those people are farmers, it means there are 49 farms available. Why are we not expropriating them? Because they've abandoned them. But why is the media not telling us? Because they say these are farmers. Why is the media, through its own investigation, say to us, this picture you see is a farmer at this. They are not farmers. There is no one who left farming here in South Africa. I suspect that those whites were these ones who were looking after cars at the parking lot. They were attending to cars and they went to fetch them there. They can't live. They will never live the kind of life they live here in South Africa anywhere else. Even if you live here as a millionaire and you go to USA, your money gets reduced to nothing. So no American or Afrikaner will leave South Africa for America. It's not true. Our country, there's no killing of white people. We're not killing white people. We're demanding our land. We're saying, let's share this land. Let's all work the land. And if that is a crime, it's a crime we're prepared to commit. Because we can't, when we're asking for food, and say, no, you're committing crime by asking. We're having a robust debate on land in South Africa. And that must never be used to silence us by America.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you.
CIC. Denomhle.
Do you think I should dare dilute the power of these words?
Not at all.
But without doing or saying anything, you know,
Yes.
every time our president goes to the West, we worry if he's not going to fetch new instructions, new tactics, and new orders of how to steal and siphon our minds, our wealth, and how to abuse our labor. So I wish one day he could come up with roses, you know, so that we can all be happy. Because he seems when he comes from there, he looks brighter than before. We also want to look bright and beautiful. Thank you.
Yes.
What's your take? What's your reaction going there, whereas there's a concern about Donald Trump?
Well, we are going there as a South African delegation. I'm going with ministers, and there are some other people who are accompanying me. And we are a sovereign state, and we will be conducting our discussions.
Yes, 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 yes,
Business
yes. So let's leave comments and share the video and